Recording.
We are recording, and we are the Self-Publishing Roundup. This is our indie publishing news and stuff blab. I have Erica Conroy.
Hi.
Say hi. And Xavier Granville. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. And Zoe York. Oh my God, it's Zoe York. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi,
And I am Robert Chazz Chute. We are the Self-Publishing Roundtable people, and we are doing the Roundup. Erica, take it away with questions, news, Roundup, go!
Well, that's not questions, but we'll go with news. So this is one that everyone's been worried about lately, is that Amazon's cracking down on advertising sites that use affiliate links in their emails, which violates Amazon's terms of service. And instead of giving out warnings, though, they've gone straight to terminating accounts and blacklisting them. And a number of ad sites have reported this, and some have decided to close. Fussy Librarian and eReader IQ are two of the ones that have been affected, but they're continuing on without their affiliate links. What do we think, Zoe?
Yeah, so it's not just e-blast sites, it's also authors who are being shut down. I actually got one of these emails myself a month ago. I did, yeah, because I violated rule number 6 in the terms of service, that you cannot send affiliate links out in email. So I apologized in my most Canadian way, and they gave me my account back. Good. And so now I will just use my affiliate link on my website and on Facebook, which are both registered in my affiliate account. I mean, it's a shame because affiliate income is very nice, but it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, there are lots of places where you can't use affiliate accounts. Like if you live in Colorado, for example, and there are a couple of other states. So as an author, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we publish on, like, I've never been able to get the affiliate account to work for Kobo, for example. That doesn't stop me from putting books on Kobo. But that affiliate revenue did mean that I put Amazon first, you know, and now when I can use my iBooks affiliate link in my email and I can't use the Amazon one in my email, I'm more likely to put the iBooks one first. So I wonder if some of these deal sites, which previously really focused on Amazon, might shift their targeting to the iBooks audience if they want that bonus revenue coming from iBooks.
What do you think, Robert?
Well, it's kind of a disturbing trend in business where at first terms are friendly and then things get less friendly. And I think what we've seen this week is there is a trend across Amazon with stories we'll talk about in a few minutes, where Amazon is not as friendly a place as it has been, and it's a bit disturbing. I think what this means in the larger sense is something I've been saying for about the last year, which is indie authors are going to have to pay for advertising more. And that kind of sucks, but that's business. And hopefully, I think in the short term, Facebook ads is probably going to be where some of this lost revenue will be made up on the indie author side. As far as the sites that have been shut down by Amazon, there was a violation of terms of service that they were happy to ignore for quite a while. And I think that there is a change in their approach that it'll be interesting to see if this change is a trend, because this might be an opportunity for other platforms to gain some ground. That said, they don't have a history of doing that. They don't have a history of seizing these opportunities. They have a history of sitting back, watching Amazon innovate, and they make very small changes or no changes at all. So,
or changes that they don't properly communicate, you know? Like I'm seeing, like I saw a couple of people today talking about Google Play and how they have this really cool promotions tab, which no author knows about because they don't communicate it, you know?
Isn't Google Play still shut down to anybody who wants to get in on that party?
Yeah, yes and no. they're going to some of the conferences, and basically if you are a author with a reasonable size platform, and I mean, some of the authors who I know who've recently gotten accounts don't have huge platforms, but they have a few books out in a series and they're not a scammer and they're not located in Russia, then it's not impossible to get an account, but they have to be open manually now. There's not a form that you can apply.
What is totally flummoxing about the Google Play situation is they've taken over a year. They say that this is about piracy, that they've shut down the site to new people. If that's the case, why is it a problem for them and not for everybody else? Mm-hmm. And the other thing they're communicating to us is that our business just doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't on Google Play, and even when Google Play comes back, if they ever do, they've mucked this up so badly that why would I consider Google Play? They are not a factor. I think they don't deserve our business at this point.
Yeah, I think that Google Play, I mean, it's a very small, like the book section is a very small team. But I think that, and I'm treading close to like a non-disclosure agreement that I signed. I think that I think they're wary about where the marketplace is going, and they don't know if they want to be a part of a marketplace that may be going somewhere where they don't want it to go.
So their answer is not to participate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess my response is, if your book marketing team, if the book team is really that small, then the company is not making us enough of a priority.
Oh, they're not. I would totally agree with that.
They need to make some big changes before I would ever consider it. I mean, for them to be shut down for over a year, has it been over a year yet? It's been about a year.
I think so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
You don't shut down a business because you got a problem. You solve the problem.
Yeah.
Damn it. Don't make me come down there.
Well, we went off topic.
Did we?
Yes. So it's been suggested that the reason why Amazon might be clamping down on this is to get rid of competition, because now that they're using Goodreads as a means for advertising their books. To get rid of that competition there. But I'm not sure how really competitive Goodreads is. You know?
So Goodreads is one way.
Amazon. Isn't it within the Amazon and like umbrella? Like it would make sense in that regard, but that sounds like a lot of work just for that.
That's really small beans for Amazon.
Yes, exactly. It's small beans for Amazon, and I think that kind of opinion is so author-centric. So like, they're out to get us, you know, when Amazon doesn't care about us. Like, that's so not. Now, get rid of their competition? Absolutely. That's 100% Amazon a plan, right? It always is, always has been. But like, get rid of BookBub so that Goodreads can have that? No. That's not, they don't care about that. What they do care about is their terms of service, which are set for very specific reasons, which we don't understand because we're authors and not lawyers, right? Mm-hmm. But their terms of service are set for a reason. They were able to ignore them for a number of years for reasons which we don't understand. And now they are cracking down on them for other reasons which we don't understand. But I don't think that it's to give Goodreads a leg up. I think that the Goodreads promo stuff is happening at the same time, but there's no causation there.
Mm-hmm. No. And in fact, from what I've seen of the Goodreads advertising proposal, it really isn't that impressive.
No.
It's certainly not competing with BookBub or even the Fussy Librarian or any of the smaller sites for that matter at this point.
Yeah, and it's not. Amazon has never really been in the business of profit through ad revenue. You know, like they do have advertising options there, but it's always small beans. And I just don't see how that's how they don't want to get rid of, you know, all the different ways to advertise your book that's on Amazon. I mean, Amazon for themselves advertises on Facebook. How can I talk about vibrators on here? Well, I just did, so I'm going to now.
Please, and talk slow.
So I'm a romance author. And so I clicked on a link that was shared in a Facebook page, Facebook group for a vibrator. I click on it. The next day, Amazon starts showing me a vibrator, but not a sexual vibrator. Oh no, it's a Black & Decker vibrator that's used to vibrate wet cement.
Yeah. You need one of those.
You can use that sexually.
And because I clicked on that one, Amazon followed me with that Black & Decker vibrator for 3 days in my right-hand ads. And that wasn't Black & Decker. That's Amazon paying for that ad space. Anyway. So Amazon, they're not, what's the word where you don't want anything to do with the rest of the world, like North Korea?
Isolationists?
They're not isolationists. Not really. They want to take over the world, and they understand that they have, that they exist in this larger space. I think that all of this terms of service stuff, I honestly think there's probably a new lawyer who took a look at it and went crack down on that stuff. I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah, a new manager or something come in. That's what usually happens in normal workplaces, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not some part of some grand 5-year plan. It is an ad hoc motion that came through committee or came from a particular manager that has wide range of effect. It's just when you're that big a player, any small thing you do has a lot of repercussions.
And at the same time, we're seeing a bunch of other things in the Amazon ecosystem that is the similar kind of crackdown about different regulations. That we're seeing it on the KDP side as well. Now, those two departments aren't connected, right? So it's not that wasn't the same manager or the same lawyer necessarily who did that. But these things are happening at the same time, and that makes me wonder if they have a new regulatory piece of their database, new bots running that are looking for irregularities and stuff like that. A few 6 weeks ago or so in May, a lot of authors reported irregularities in the database. You'd log into Amazon and you get a weird, white page, or your reports would be really laggy, or weird things were happening. And every time you see something weird happen as the author in the database, 6 weeks later, there's some sort of announcement or something like that. So we were all waiting for a new KU3 announcement, Kindle Unlimited 3. That didn't happen, but all these crackdowns happened. So maybe it was the bots being tested in the database 6 weeks ago. Who knows?
I think there is a lot of the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, but it could very well be that this comes down from the Joint Chiefs of Staff, where all the departments get together to say, we're changing. We're changing this. We're actually finally enforcing some of the stuff we've had in our TOS for all this time, and that's going to be a shocker.
Yeah, some people are going to find out what's actually in the TOS, because there are a lot of people that don't read that kind of thing. And it changes.
You have to be a real wonk to get deep into the TOS. My favorite thing is you in the Apple iTunes agreement. You could have Mein Kampf in there, and people would still be clicking agree. It's just too long. It's too involved. Yeah. Nobody reads the TOS.
There is one funny line. I can't go find it now, but I'll find it later and share it on the SPRT Facebook page or something. There is a line in the Amazon Terms of Service that basically speaks to a zombie invasion. Angela Quarles found it a few months ago because she's a wonk who will read the Terms of Service.
Yes,
that's right. Zoe just admitted that she hasn't read the Terms of Service.
That's probably
why my account was shut down.
That's probably a remnant from back when Amazon was much smaller and had a little more personality and a lot less automation.
Yeah. Well, there was something that did come out recently and said that it was recently added, but I'm not sure if it was the Amazon one or for somewhere else. And it was about zombies as well, that it's something like null and void in the case of the zombie apocalypse or something like that.
Yeah, that's funny, because as soon as you mentioned the zombie apocalypse thing, I thought, that wasn't Amazon, that was another company. But yeah, it's gone. Zombies have gone viral. The zombie virus has a virus.
But just to go back to the topic there, that Amazon isn't actually shutting these places down; it's removing their affiliate income, basically, and it's up to the advertising sites whether or not they shut down, up their prices for authors, or start charging authors. I think a Reader IQ has made words about subscription models, but I have no idea how that would work and who would be charged for the subscription. You wouldn't want to charge the readers. I mean, But yeah, anyway, shall we move on to the other Kindle atrocities?
Please. It's that kind of night.
Oh, is it? Awesome. So there's been a number of authors who have ebooks and Kindle Unlimited that have reported that their books have been pulled from Amazon and their KDP accounts have been closed. The reason they've been given is, we have detected that borrows for your books are originating from systematically generated accounts. So they're basically implying that the authors have somehow manipulated their borrows by using click farms or the like. And again, no warnings were given. It's just complete shutdown.
And no sense of a proportional response where there would be an investigation first, or shut down that day's reads for them. And it was just this, oh, by the way, we're reaching out to you to let you know your account has been shut down. Bad news for authors, and ultimately bad news for KDP Select.
What do you think there, Zoe? Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think it's bad news for KDP Select. Like, if it's anything more than a very, very rare incident, I think we've heard of 3 so far this week. 3 in a week it's no longer that isolated, right? But if we see another 3 next week, you're going to start seeing a mass exodus of authors out of KDP Select, because it's just not worth it. I mean, if you think about it, if it is in fact that precarious, and if all it takes is a handful of orchestrated, I mean, one of the authors that I heard of, it was 25,000 page reads.
Yep.
That's nothing. That's $125 of income.
Yeah, but she was previously on 80 page reads a day, so it was
but it doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, if you okay, I can't do math. If your book is 500 pages, that's 50 reads, 50 borrows and full reads.
It's a minor spike that triggered it. That's a hair trigger.
And it wouldn't take anything to maliciously do that to somebody.
Yeah.
Right? To organize it and point it at your enemy or something. Obviously we're writers. That's immediately where our mind goes. It's, ooh, devious. But I don't have any books in Kindle Unlimited at the moment, and my very first thought was, oh, thank God this can't happen to me, because I'm like, oh, I don't think I have any enemies, but if I did, this would be such an easy way to hurt somebody. And even if you can unravel it, even if you're patient enough and polite enough to get through, the red tape and contact somebody, and it's still, you lose your ranks, you lose, even if you can get your account back, you lose a lot while you're shut down. And, I've heard it taking weeks. Now, that being said, and I'm not saying this about anybody who's been shut down this particular week or any specific author. I think, my mind immediately went to the devious possibilities of using it maliciously. I think that it's also possible that, like me and the Amazon affiliates terms of service, I think it's entirely possible that somebody did this and didn't realize that they were doing it, and they didn't realize that it put their account in jeopardy. I think that that's no excuse, but I think that that's just as likely.
Yeah.
If it were one isolated incident, I think I would jump to that too. But what I'd like to see is, let's see. Oh, hello.
Hello, little one.
We'll see what happens next week, and see if we get a repeat of this. There was kind of an ugly trend, and I picked this up on the Passive Voice. I don't know if I shouldn't say trend. There was something alarming to me about the number of people who it was kind of reverse Amazon derangement syndrome, where they jumped to the conclusion that the author must be guilty, and we're trying to get away with something. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Zoe. In fact, I think you're very careful to avoid saying that. But when I saw that suggestion, it really made me worry, because that's the sort of thinking that goes, well, whatever happens, it's your own fault, until they come for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't think what I meant was, I think that it's possible that it could accidentally have happened, or one of the promo sites that they booked could have, because all it is like
misleading jargon in their offer. They could have offered something that they're not clear in what they are offering, and someone who is new to the game just comes in and just like, oh, they're offering to promote my book and it's $5. Okay, great, click.
Of course, the other aspect of this is one thing we've always complained about with Kobo is that they're not automated enough. It's like you have to know somebody. You have to have a rabbi within the company to get any kind of merchandising, all that kind of stuff. In this case, we're thinking Amazon is too automated. They went to too the threshold for an account being flagged was too low. But that, to me, is not as bad. I mean, that can be fixed. But what is really harrowing about this is that it's not just that some automated bot said there's a problem with this account. Somebody had to make the decision to say, we're shutting down your account, instead of further investigation, contacting the author, any kind of proportional response where they would claw those royalties back and leave it at that, or otherwise ameliorate the situation. Instead, they went to the nuclear option. And I had planned to go wide anyway. I am now accelerating my efforts in that regard after this week. And maybe, there's somebody who's going to say, well, Rob, you're an alarmist and all that stuff. Well, it's my whole career. If you shut down my Amazon account, that's where all my money is come from. I can't, and when I went wide before, I found that the other sites were abysmal. However, we've gotten to the point where I just can't. I actually, when I opened up my email every day this week after I became aware of this story, I looked for something from KDP Select letting me know that I'm a bad person. and it's just, the whole thing of, you've done nothing wrong, so you don't have anything to worry about. That's what these people thought too. Now, maybe this is just, sorry?
They totally thought that.
Yes. And maybe this is going to be resolved quickly and Amazon is going to change the situation. I hope that I am an alarmist and this turns out to be a blip that they can change. And they should jump to do so, because this could really hurt KDP Select. I am sure that I'm not alone in thinking that, well, this is nonsense. I'm not going to get that letter. I don't want that letter. We're writers. We're sensitive people. Even, and anytime you deal with Amazon and you are told that you've done anything wrong, then you feel terrible about yourself. I'm already full of self-loathing. I don't need this shit.
And we do, right? We feel such guilt. I get nastygrams. I've got 32 titles now. I get nastygrams from Amazon all the time. My book is, the wrong price in Australia, and I need to prove copyright yet again on a book that I published in 2014 just because I made a price change. And
what?
those. Oh, you don't get those?
I don't get those.
Oh my God, they happen to me all the time. And so, all you have to do is hit reply and be like, yes, I hold copyright. I first published this book under this account in 2014. Thank you very much for your concern.
Which is exactly what should be on their dashboard when they look at that.
But it's these automated checks, Now, thankfully, they don't yank it from sale while they're asking me to prove copyright. But they could, Scary.
Well, I just want to be treated more nicely because I'm sensitive. I'm very sensitive.
Well, and feelings aside, it's just, I think it's a bad foot forward on their part to be making kind of these brash calls, and you can be like, the harsh judge and make examples out of people, and they're certainly not doing that with the affiliate links, and because it's up to the individual sites to do what they will with their respective business. When it comes to the authors, that is their business, like you said, Robert. So if you're messing with that, then you're not going to be creating a great reputation for yourself as being this warm place where a creative can come in and maybe profit off of their work.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole lot of discussion with Amazon of, do they care about us? Do they not? I don't expect that they do, but we are business partners, actually.
But that's just it. It doesn't have to be a warm agreement, but you want it to be mutually beneficial. And when it becomes to that point where you're actually worried about your career being at jeopardy, that's not the kind of business relationship that you want to be in. That's like, what are you? What are they, Teamsters? Are they are we working for the mob now?
That's right.
I think
the bad boyfriend.
to take it to a practical place for a second, I think it's not a bad idea for authors who previously haven't thought of something like this to have a contingency plan. What happens if your KDP account gets shut down, right? Mm-hmm. This happened to a friend of mine, not on KDP, but on Nook a couple weeks ago. She got an email saying there was a business concern, so her Nook account has been shut down and until they have a chance to talk about it. She eventually got it fixed like 5-6 days later. No explanation, just one of these weird things, but in the meantime, she published her books to Nook through Draft to Digital. Now that's not an option for Amazon, but there surely, there are, it's not that your books, so because it's that emotional, oh my God, they've taken all my income. I think it's important for an author to remember that if your author account, if your KDP publishing account gets shut down, that does not mean that your books are banned from Amazon, right? It means that you can't publish them to Amazon, but somebody else could. Somebody else perhaps in your family. And I mean, that would get tricky with income and all of that and taxes. And I'm not making a legal advisement or a tax advisement or anything like that. But, they're making a cold business decision. You can also then make a cold business decision and republish that intellectual property. You just like sell it to your partner or something, or I don't know.
Or incorporate.
I was just going to say that a number of people do that.
Certainly a corporation, I don't know what the costs are of that in the States, or even like protecting it under a small business with a new EIN if you're an American. There's got to be ways around it.
And for those who have been affected by this, they have been reporting that it's taken a while for them to actually get people to respond to them. So usually in this instance, everyone goes, email Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Because that gets to him, and apparently he looks at everything and forwards it off to whoever of his joint chiefs needs to deal with it. Mm-hmm. So the more people you can get to email Jeff on your behalf.
Jeff at Amazon.com. I've done it once. I did it once for the first time a month ago because I had a book that they shunted from romance into erotica, and it wasn't an erotica book. It wasn't anywhere even close to erotica. And I kept getting the most ridiculous answers from KDP customer support. They kept telling me, edit your book and then republish under a new ASIN, which of course is not the right answer. Of course, that's not the thing to do. And I knew that, but a newer author wouldn't know that. And so they would do that, Anyway, so I finally, after like 3 back and forths with them, I just emailed, I CC'd Jeff on my next email, and it got fixed the next day. I mean, it's kind of a stupid system that they have that's how you get things fixed, but it works.
That's how I used to get things fixed in my, in real world employment. I would CC in someone's manager. They usually shut them up.
Yeah,
I guess it's the way to do it here too.
Yeah, I think whoever listens to this blog, this whole idea could go viral, and from here on out, every email that goes to customer support will CC Jeff Bezos.
I think that it's important to hold that back, to try and go through due process. I also think it's really important to be polite and a professional in your communication with them. That certainly helps. Because when you CC Jeff Bezos, and someone in his office just forwards it on to the executive support team. But the first thing they do is they pull all of your communications with KDP support, and they look back at that record. And if you have called them, sodding wankers, you're going to not get as much help from them as if you've been a professional.
Well, not because you said they were sodding wankers, but because they're English.
Wankers.
So we finished on this topic, do you think?
Well, I'll remain worried and concerned. But yes.
Remain vigilant.
Ever vigilant.
So, Author Earnings released their May report a wee while ago, and they did something a little bit different with this report, because the usual detractors or people who criticize them really said that it's only a tiny proportion of the sales that are happening on Amazon. So this time what they did was they expanded the results, and also that sorry, I've lost my place.
Deep breath.
Yeah.
All's well.
So they expanded the data they use, sending their spider off through the interwebs to show more than just the usual 200,000 listed category bestsellers that they did. So they also included the also boards that were on the bestseller pages and the other titles from those authors that were on the also boards. So they ended up with nearly a third of all the ebooks in the US store being recorded, and they've basically said that that's practically any ebook that sells at least one copy a day. So I thought that was really interesting personally.
It's incredibly comprehensive.
Yeah, I mean,
I think though that there are some limitations to the data that they pulled. For example, my reading of it shows that they would show me as two people because I have two pen names.
Yeah.
And one of my pen names on that particular day, my Ainsley pen name, didn't have a very good sales day. So would they show her as being an author that would earn less than $10,000 a year? Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's because she's not. Although people can think that about her. I'm happy for people to think that she's an underachiever. But if you put both of my pen names together, that puts me in a different place than if you look at them as two separate people. And particularly in romance, more authors that I know than not have two of those pen names. And so, I was really surprised at how many authors that they said didn't, I think it was 1,200 authors earned like a living wage or like a good wage.
50,000 it wasn't.
Yeah.
1340.
Pardon?
1340 earning more than 100K a year.
Yeah. So that seemed low to me, a little bit low to me. But then I wondered how many people have two pen names that are both under that threshold.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it sounded low, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, that sounds about right.
Also, the expanded results did reveal that there were previously invisible earners that were earning like six figures or quite a lot, but weren't showing up on the previous results because they weren't on the bestseller list. So because of their whole huge catalog or a larger catalog that was selling, or
a large catalog but in a big category. Like my Zoe books are never on any bestseller lists, but Zoe out earns Ainsley by a fair bit. So, so I would have been captured in this data probably for the first time.
Captured. They got you.
So, I also went into the looked into the comments for that month, because sometimes more interesting stuff gets pulled out of it. And Data Guy included some graphs that showed basically what genres dominate the lists. And it's, of course, romance by a shit ton. And then somewhere way down the line, you get sci-fi fantasy, then thriller and suspense, then mysteries, and literary is teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Poor literary.
But they did make a note in the report that there was someone who wrote literary and was earning a shit ton, which, is probably more the exception.
Yep.
In terms of that genre, anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so slippery anyway. I mean, Margaret Atwood is a sci-fi author, but she says she's not. And,
that's because she's Canadian, right? If
she
no, but
she's
it's true. If Margaret Atwood was an American, she would be a genre fiction author, right? Upmarket contemporary, upmarket sci-fi. But she would definitely be more like Neil Gaiman, you know what I mean? Whereas in Canada,
yes,
because in Canada, we only value literary fiction. So if you're a really good author, you are a literary fiction writer, and you publish, your publishers just position you as such.
Despite the fact that your best books are in post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
Zombies?
Sorry, Margaret, but it's true. Somebody had to tell you.
Margaret writes zombies?
But she does write.
She does write dystopian.
Yeah, she writes dystopian. Oryx and Craig's fantastic book. Love Oryx and Craig. It's just when we talk about literary, I just think of it as another genre, as opposed to the way most people from academia tend to think of it. Literary versus genre. I would say that it is just another genre. It's the genre that its saving grace is. It's the one that people seem to respect more, or some people seem to respect more when it comes down to contests, but or some awards. But look, that's maybe a whole discussion for another time. But I just weary of that debate because I think it's kind of a semantic issue.
Yeah. I mean, and I totally agree with you that literary fiction is a genre. And if it were treated as such, I think we would be publishing different literary fiction. And I think it would be better.
Yeah. I think when you look at those numbers and how teeny tiny it is, I always come back to the question about the math to put things in perspective. And the group I use is the number of foot fetishists in North America. Are there more or less than people who are making money in that genre?
Yes. That's a good question.
It's a good question. Yes. I think it's something we all ponder from time to time.
I don't even think I've seen foot fetish erotica.
And now you're going to be
Amazon.
getting so much of it in your inbox. You should never admit that.
Oh, no. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things I've seen in erotica on Amazon, but foot fetish ones, I've just never noticed them before. Never heard of anyone writing them either. So
imagine the cover, like the foot coming at you on the cover.
I know.
Quentin Tarantino is the most famous foot fetishist in the world, and I think that he is underserved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So get on that, Erica.
Okay.
Yep, untapped. Unless upon further research you find that it is very much tapped.
Well, I'm just saying it's not been visible to me, and I've seen lots of stuff.
I'm going to Amazon as soon as we're done this. I'm fine.
You're gonna look. Okay, awesome.
And then I will use my affiliate code to share it with you on Facebook, where I am allowed to.
So you want to see where whether or not I buy it?
Well, I'll just post it publicly. I won't know if you're the one that clicks on it.
Oh, true. But you'll probably
the NSA will. The NSA will see a weird spike in Google searches and go, "What's going on?"
Actually,
as long as no one borrows it, because it might be awful for the author if they suddenly a huge spike because Zoe York's been referring people to.
I will be sure to. I'm sure that every single foot fetish book is in KU. I was going to say I'll be sure to pick one that's not in KU, but I'm sure that's not the case.
And I just thought of something, actually, because a lot of people have settings in their Facebook notifications that they get emails for certain things that they follow or what have you. So Amazon's walking a very fine line of what is appropriate email from who to whom as to what that affiliate link is, either damnation or just plain sharing around a deal.
Oh. Shoot.
Right. I know. I just thought of that now too.
Might you have to remove Facebook affiliate?
Huh. But I mean, that's another thing. It's like you can't control what somebody does with your link.
No.
And they could probably go off and this will be the next way to get someone's account suspended, will be to put it in emails and just send them all over.
over and over. But actually, I remember, last Christmas, an author friend was like, here's my friend's affiliate code, and they're on hard times. Can you use it and buy something? It'll be a nice little surprise for them. What if I emailed that to somebody just to be nice? No, this is bad. Mm-hmm. Amazon did not think this. They didn't think their terms of service.
Well, it's also not just email that it can't be in. It also can't be in a print physical form either with QR codes. So if you put it on your bookmarks, that you give out at conventions or whatever, that's against the terms of service as well.
Gave out 3 years ago, and then somebody digs out and they're like, "Oh, a free book! I'll use that."
Yeah,
and screw you over. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. There's another way to get you.
Landmines everywhere. I think we just need to become Amish, move to a cave, and not write books anymore. Just forget it.
It's
not worth it.
Are there many cave-dwelling Amish?
Yes, I'm going to start the cult. This is a new sect.
Actually, there's an awesome sculptor who carves out caves, and there's all sorts of flourishes and all sorts in them. But you can't ask him to do a specific cave because he's his muse will make him be as creative as he wants to be. So you just get whatever he gives you.
Of course.
But they're really beautiful. Hey, it's wow. So if you wanted a fancy cave.
I can't ask for specific Amish imagery on it. That's too bad. I'll have to rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a really good gay Amish book recommendation if anybody wants it. No? Yeah. Kara Andrews wrote a really lovely trilogy, and the first one's called A Forbidden Rumspringa, which is a Rumspringa is when they're young and they are foolish and
go wild. Good. It's Amish go wild.
Yeah, Amish go wild.
Go out in the real world for what's it, a year or something like that before deciding whether or not they go back to be Amish or.
So it's not a joke series. It's it's a really lovely gay trilogy, male romance, and it's just really nicely done.
Interesting. Something for everybody except for Quentin Tarantino.
Unless they're feet,
There are feet in it. But I will find those books and I will let you know.
Awesome.
You know what? That's okay.
Anyone got anything else they want to comment on that's happened in the news lately, or what we've already talked about before we sign off?
Not unless there was another item. I thought there was another item. No,
I don't want to touch it. It's clickbaity, and I just can't even.
I totally agree. I was prepared to go off on a huge angry rant that would have been incredibly entertaining. But you know what? Your way's better.
Yep.
I don't know. Now I'm kind of curious about your entertaining.
I would have just fed the rant.
Yeah, no, we want to hear that now.
If I no, should
you
we?
Want to watch me burst into flames?
Or shouldn't we?
No, you're go with your instincts. You're right. We're already long on time.
I'd say leave it in the show link so that people can click it themselves, because we built it up already.
That's true. We've already said too much. We don't want to be We don't want to be a tease.
We'll just say it's someone's truly bizarre interpretation of the author earnings report.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire publishing market in general.
Sure.
And reality in general.
The comments are fun too.
Yeah,
the comments
yeah,
are great.
it
might actually be from another dimension, is what we're saying.
Yeah, if you want to read a very bad article by a clickbaity person and then read some great comments backlashing against this person, click below.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So
that's the way to go.
Thank you to Zoe for coming in. Where can people find you on the internet?
ZoeYork.com. My next book coming out is actually in July. I have 3 99-cent box sets coming out. Speaking of that link and how I'm ruining publishing, me and my friends, 3 bundles at a time. ZoeYork.com. I haven't updated my blog yet, but at some point this week I'll update my blog with links to the 3 upcoming 99-cent box sets.
Awesome. And Robert, thank you for coming in today. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at allthatchaz.com. Chaz is with 2 Z's, 2 Z's if you're nasty. And go to that site and you will see that my motto is always, green is for go.
Anyway, X, thank you for coming in. You're right there. Where can people find you on the internet?
Check me out at theideapool.org and Twitter at Granville, I guess.
Awesome. And I'm Erica Conroy. You can find me at ericaconroy.com. And we're from the self-publishing roundtable.com. Check us out tomorrow for links to all the things we talked about and that clickbaity
greatness.
Link, maybe.
Or not.
Or not. Up to you. Also keep an eye out because we have a romance promo coming out. We've got 106 romance ebooks that are all available for free between the 22nd and the 24th of June. Oh my god. As well as a giveaway. So you can win prizes too. So the website will be available, will be selfpublishingroundtable.com/promo/romance.html. Yeah, but check it on the days that I said. Otherwise, they won't be free. Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. We will catch you later. What do you say, X?
Good night, internets.